So I'm here with Alonzo. We was trying to think through when we walked in how we met, but we've known each other or of each other for at least a couple of years. And I, along with many others, have kind of been able to watch and see you grow a clothing brand. I think there's a lot of people that don't know you personally that probably know you through Full of Vengeance. And, you know, you've got a lot of things cooking and have been able to see a lot of things forward at a pretty young age. So I want to open up the floor by just like, you know, giving a chance for you to introduce yourself. Like let everyone that doesn't know you or that does know you know kind of like what you're about, how you got here.
Yeah, my name is Alonzo Margiela. I'm a college student at Savannah State University, majoring in criminal justice in my last semester. Basically what I do is I own the brand Full of Vengeance, and I also have an agency starting up called Concrete Agencies, where we focus on web development, running ads for small businesses, specifically for like clothing brands right now, but we're going to branch off into other things. And I also do Turo on the side, and I also do mentoring.
Nice. I like it. Let's start with how the brand started. So you're in school now. How long has the brand been active?
Since March of 2023.
Okay, so that's actually relatively, for some reason, it feels like you've been growing it longer than that. And you've been able to achieve a lot of growth and like just get a ton of traction that I think a lot of people they wonder like how to get to that point at all, let alone in, you know, just under 2 years at this point, 3. Just so that we can speak to where the brand is at right now. What can you tell us about how it's doing, you know, today or like in the last couple of months? Like, what are some of the milestones that you've hit in recent season?
In recent season, one of my goals when I originally first started is I wanted to have a 10K month, meaning I had to drop a piece in a certain month and I'd make $10,000 off a profit, and I surpassed that.
Nice.
Shout out to Meta Ads for that. But yeah, definitely that was one of my biggest milestones, and of course I'm gonna have a new one. Like I want to touch 25,000 the next drop, and just keep elevating with it.
Nice. When you started the brand, let's go back a little bit to what led you to start. I think there's like one of two sides of the coin that people land on. It's either like start a clothing brand and you're going to get rich, or it's like don't get into that game because it's so saturated. So tell me a bit about like the landscape and like your mental landscape going into it and when you actually decided to pull the trigger.
Well, really, I've had the idea since high school. I was inspired by bigger brands at that time, such as Supreme, Stussy, North Face, like around that SoundCloud era. So I was really inspired by those type of brands, but I didn't have the resources or the knowledge to actually say, okay, I'm going to do this myself. And I believe in like 2021, when it became a trend to have a clothing brand, all this information became accessible on the internet. So I said, I'm just gonna go out and do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger. And the backing that I had from my school, like my peers, they really supported me. And originally, when I dropped, I believe I dropped 2 T-shirts, bro. They were horrible. But the whole school supported me, and when they did that, I knew that I would be able to be in the mind space to say, okay, I can continue to do this. It's okay if I fail. It's okay if one thing didn't go right. I'm just going to keep pushing.
Yeah. When I have to ask, when you say they were horrible, you mean like design, quality, all of the above?
It was really all of the above. I had a designer, and the design on the shirt was supposed to cover the entire shirt. And I don't know if you guys know this, but American manufacturers, their printers are typically not that big when it comes to people overseas. So the print was like this big, like it was literally a square. So it was just bad, bro.
Dang.
But I still sold out in a week. So
Nice. One of them lessons. What was your, like, you know, you mentioned you were in a position where you felt like you had enough like social backing and resources to be able to make a go at it. What were some of the things that you feel like you did or you studied to set you off in the right direction? Or was it really just like school of hard knocks, like I'm going to give it a go and figure out as I go along?
mainly that. But other than that, I would say networking on different servers in Discord. Discord has really been a big help for me. That really taught me all of my knowledge. But other than that, I would just say I just went head first.
Nice.
Just trial and error.
And when it comes to continuing to grow the brand, working on the brand on the day-to-day right now, is it just you? You have a team where...
Yeah. I do have a team. Well, not really a team, but I do have a co-owner. But other than that, it was just me and him.
Nice. Do you see that changing anytime soon?
Definitely. As we do get bigger, I'm definitely going to need a bigger team, Like I stayed up till 5 o'clock in the morning packaging like 180 orders. So definitely it's getting really time consuming. I can't just sit there and, treat it as if I'm still small. I'm still pretty small, but it's really growing rapidly. So I'm definitely gonna need a team soon.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you weren't expecting would be problems or even considerations that as you got into the game and started growing, you realized like, damn, this is a factor. Like, this is crazy.
I would say space.
Mm.
I don't like where I am currently right now. I'm still in my dorm. So when I get all these packages, I'm getting all these boxes, it's like I don't have anywhere to put it.
Mm.
So it's like I'm renting storage units, and it's to the point where I'm really running out of space. I don't have space for nothing.
You gave a shout out to Meta Ads.
Yeah, shout out Meta Ads.
Did you already have experience media buying or running ads before you started Full of Vengeance?
Not at all.
Okay.
I really just recently learned the powers of Meta Ads, like how you were saying before you were using like Boost Posts. I'd say like last year, maybe around like spring, Boost Post was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was really good. It had Meta beat, but I think the difference between Meta Ads now is Meta has a better analysis on your stats when it comes to ads, so you can have detailed breakdowns.
Nice. What was the process and experience like for you jumping into Meta Ads and media buying with something that obviously like you cared about, you're passionate about, something that costs money and can burn through money very quickly, and something that wasn't necessarily like what you were passionate about? There's some cats that are like, oh, I love media buying, like media buying so cool. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like that's the place you were in. It was just like, this is an avenue for growth. So like, how was that getting into that aspect of the game and figuring it out? Did you have to blow through a lot of money?
Are you talking about through with the clothes or the
Meta Ads in particular? Because I think when it comes to like the clothing, anything creative, one of the big things that a lot of people come to learn is like, oh, there's so much more to this than just the creative asset, right? Okay. So like when it comes to designing, like I might have wanted to design clothes, but now when it comes to actually selling and like I have to run ads and like I got to set up Shopify and like do all of this conversion. So it seems like ads and like media buying was one of those things where it was like, okay, this is just a necessary input to grow the business. So like, did you struggle at all? Like, were you like banging your head against the door, figuring out ads, or like, was it light?
It was really light for me originally. I did have an ads manager at one point. He definitely did help me get started, and he did teach me like the principles and the strategies of it. But I didn't really too much burn that much money. I would say it all depends on your budget at the end of the day. But I think I blew around like $1,000 just to like test the market, test how my ads were doing, test different content strategies. So I would say like when I first started, around like $1,000.
Nice. How much are you spending on ads now?
Now, around like 3,000, like per drop.
Nice. What would you say to someone? Obviously, organic has been like it's on a pedestal right now because of how much growth creators, businesses, brands have been able to see through organic content in the last couple years.
Okay.
How is organic playing into your strategy? Is it something that you're looking to do more of? Where is that sitting for you?
I feel like when you're making content, well, for a clothing brand at least, I think your main focus should be organic marketing because at the end of the day, if you don't have to pay for marketing, you shouldn't. Basically, what I do is I go based off of my best performing organic content. I would see that, I would analyze it, and then I would run ads on that.
Got you. So you'll put different organic posts out, and then based on what is performing best, you'll run those as the ad creative to get, got you. Are you finding usually that when you run ads, it is a straightforward path for a purchase? So like someone sees the ad, they click it and they go and check out right there, or is there a little bit of a longer cycle?
Now, there is a longer cycle. I typically run my ads a week and a half prior to the day I'm releasing the clothes, just so I can have traffic and engagement towards either my Instagram page or the website so I can collect subscribers on the wait list. So with the subscribers on the wait list, they sign up, they get a discount, and then on drop day, I send out a mass text to the subscribers, and then they can go purchase. However, the day prior to me dropping, I do start running sales campaigns just so everything's ready to go. As soon as I hit the button to open my website, those ads are already being pushed out to the masses.
Nice. What are some of the, I don't want to say like tips and tricks, but let's say what are some of the strategies that you maybe didn't employ your first few drops that now a couple drops in, you're realizing have been really effective in being able to sell out or otherwise just increase penetration into the market?
A tip is like you said earlier, followers do not equal sales. Likes, comments, it doesn't equal sales. So I was mainly focused on building my social proof outside of actually getting sales. Really, I was just more so focused on looking the part rather than actually getting these sales out.
Mm.
And I think that's where I messed up originally. I was running more so engagement ads, boost posts. I wasted so much money on boost posts. I wasted around like $2,000 off boost posts. And then I had to come to the realization that these followers are not buying. They're just, they support, but they're not buying. And that's at the end of the day, the end goal. I'm here to sell.
Right. What changed when you realized that and you were like, okay, cool, I need to start orienting what I'm doing towards sales?
I was tired of being in a place like I felt like I was stationary. At the end of the day, like I said, the goal is to sell and to sell out. However, I was at a point where I wasn't comfortable with that. Like I wanted to see my product go from I'm making $8,000 to $10,000 to 15 to 20, and I believe that with the help of ads and the strategies that I've implemented, that has definitely helped me.
Yeah. So you weren't doing the ads, or you changed the type of ads that you were running.
Mm-hmm.
So before it was like optimized for engagement and just like social growth. And then you realize, okay, it's time for me to change the kind of ads that I'm running.
Yep.
Was there anything else that you changed in like how you were approaching it?
Not necessarily. I would say I did change my content strategy. I had to really sit down and break down my actual target audience and how my content would be placed in front of them. Because if you don't know your audience, you don't know who you're selling to, and you can't bank on. I mean, it's okay to have a broad audience, but you should know deep down the people that are actually really buying your product. So basically, my demographic for the people that are actually buying my product, they're around the age of 16 to 25, 28, and I know they're all primarily African American. Now, what I've been doing recently is I've been branching off outside of that demographic. So I'm running ads, target more broad ads. So I'm running ads from 18 years old to 30, all locations, all demographics. And I took a risk on that, but that actually really worked out really well.
Nice. When I want to talk about like closing that loop with understanding your demo. How much of a factor, if at all, is that in like design, right? Because I think that is like a big question mark area for a lot of people. They might have an idea on design.
Okay.
And
you mean
it's
like
just
designing
like,
a piece?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you factor that in, or what considerations go into what you design and how you design it? Is it all just like seeing your creative vision realized, or are there other pieces at play?
Mainly seeing my creative vision like in my hands, like being able to make it. I do have a team of designers. I forgot to add them, but I do have a team of designers, and I give them my idea basically, and they 9 times out of 10 they make it come to light. Yeah.
Nice. How long have you been working with your designers?
I'd say since the jump. Since
Oh,
the beginning.
nice. Nice.
That's
Same
like 5 of
team.
them. Yep.
What would you say? Because I think a lot of people, they'll start by designing their own
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe assume that at some point they'll scale into growing
Okay.
with designers. You took a different path. What are your thoughts on that? What advice would you give to someone as far as when it's time to start working with the designer?
I would say know exactly who you're working with and do your research on who you're working with. There's a lot of scammers out there, especially on Instagram. You see a lot of these quote unquote designers. They're selling you designs, but they're selling you designs and they're selling that same exact person the same exact design. So I had a design from this one guy from overseas, and he showed me the shirt. He showed me the pants as well, like the design files. And I got it produced, I got it made, and then I'm posting it on Instagram, and some other brand DMs me, and he's like, "Yo, you stole my design." Like, it was a whole big deal, and I'm telling him like, "Nah, like I got this design from this dude. He's selling your design," and it was just a whole mess. Like he had sold their design to like 10 other people.
Dang.
So I would definitely say know who you're working with, do your research, network in the space that you're in. Networking is key, so you can communicate. You know who's who. Because in this space, there's a lot of scammers.
Who are some of the key individuals or roles that people should be looking to connect with and network with for success?
I would say people in a position that you would want to be. not necessarily like you're basing your whole entire brand or your whole strategy off of them. But I would say being in that place or being connected with them, they can give you tips on how to scale or how to run your brand better in a sense, so that they took these L's already. So they're going to teach you what and what not to do so you don't have the same fails.
Nice.
Or L's, rather.
Yeah, you know, we were speaking earlier, and you are now kind of in that position for some folks. You mentioned that you have like a mentorship and like a community. What are some of the biggest pitfalls that you are seeing folks that are coming in make, or that you're helping avoid or helping them avoid making from the jump? Like, what are some of the mistakes that you have been able to either go through or see that you're able to go to them and say like, hey, do this, don't do this, because this could be a problem?
Well, I do offer 3 forms of mentoring. I offer a basic, an intermediate, and the advanced. With the basic, well, really anything revolving to mentoring, my number one tip to them is if you fail, do not quit. A lot of brand owners now, they see these people, they're pulling in $10,000 a month, $20,000, and they expect, like, I'm just going to make a shirt and I'm going to make that much money. That's not the case. So that would be my number one tip to new brand owners, is if you don't go into this game thinking you're just going to wake up rich, because it's not. It's a lot more that comes with it, and you have to be okay with failing, because it's going to teach you a lesson at the end of the day.
As you were growing Full of Vengeance, was it like your primary thing? Like, were you working on the side? Like,
Yeah, bro. I was working crazy. I used to work at Enterprise, and I used to work crazy shifts from like 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. And while being in school, as soon as I get off work, I got to go to class. No sleep at all. And I saved up every single dollar that I made from those paychecks, and I literally dumped it all into the clothing brand.
wow, that's awesome. Are you finding that most of the people that come into your mentorship are in a similar position, or is it a lot of folks that are like, I'm going to try this out, got some money set aside?
I feel like, just to piggyback on what I just said, I feel like most people are just joining this field because they see it's a trend on social media. So they have the budget to do it, or they have the budget to sustain it for the time being. However, when they actually dump the money into it and they're not seeing a profit off of it, it tends to spiral down. Like they're not taking it as serious anymore. It's not on their to-do list. Like it's really like a lot of people really quit after their first drop.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of factors into it. Like a lot of people are running pre-orders now, and like with pre-orders, you have to meet a certain MOQ. MOQ is minimum order quantity. So if you don't meet that minimum, it's probably around like 40. So let's just say you drop, you only get 20 orders. If you don't meet that minimum, you have to literally refund everybody. Shopify can literally shut down your stores to the point where you're banned. You can't make another shop. So it's a lot of factors that come into it, and a lot of people just give up.
Yeah, I could totally see that. There's a lot of additional elements, like we were talking about earlier, you know, outside of just designing and like making the Instagram page. You know, you got to get the store set up. Mm-hmm. You got to obviously get right with your payment process or whatever that is. And I think you were mentioning that there are some aspects there that you support with as well. So give us like the 360 on, let's say that I am a clothing brand owner, I'm looking to be,
Okay.
And I'm looking for support. Like, what are all of the ways that you could help me with that?
With my mentoring, I do offer 24/7 one-on-one like calls or chats with that. Basically, I do have a blueprint for each section in my mentoring based on where you are at with your brand. So I would give you a pamphlet, and we would hop on calls 3 times a week. And that's basically how I can see what you're doing or what you're doing right and what you can build off, or what you're doing wrong and what you need to fix.
Nice. And then when it comes to, let's say I know nothing about Shopify, I know nothing about meta ads, is that for me to figure out on my own?
No. With my mentoring, each of them, if you don't already have a website, they come with a website. And with the meta ads, that would be tailored to the advanced portion in my mentorship, because I feel like you should be focusing more on organic content when you're first starting out, because you don't know what's working for your brand. You still don't know your audience yet. So I don't believe in just dumping ads into a brand new brand. I don't believe in it.
Nice. That makes sense. What are some of the things that you are looking to do for expansion this year, right? At the time of recording, we're 3 days into 2025. Mm-hmm. Are you looking to just do more of what's working? Do you have some new initiatives that you're looking to try out?
Yeah.
Maybe a mix of the two? Where's your head at?
Really revolving around the brand. I do want to start another brand. I want to have more like minimalistic pieces, like blanks, higher quality garments. But outside of clothes, like I said, I do want to start my own agency to the point where I have a whole team of ads managers, web developers, designers, anything that you need. That it's a one-stop shop.
Nice, nice. Um, yeah. When you're thinking about organic content,
Okay.
for you all, right? Like I think I've seen some crazy organic, and we were having conversations even before you came, as far as just like how to edit content, like how to get it kind of processed. What are some of the opportunities that you might have seen, or maybe like what are some brands that you think do organic content really well that you might get inspiration from, or otherwise just be inspired by?
Okay. Streetwear brands. I'm really into streetwear.
Yeah.
So streetwear brands that I would say that I really take after their content. You know who Quan is?
Yeah.
Quan definitely. He has a crazy fan base. He can drop some trash clothes. He's still gonna sell out. But he's built that fan base to the point where they're gonna support him no matter what.
Is he the faceless dude?
Faceless? What you mean?
Yeah, there's this one cat. It's definitely not Quan. There's this dude that scaled a clothing brand on TikTok and like never showed his face.
He's Caucasian.
Yeah.
You talking about SK?
Yeah. I
You
think
love
so.
SK?
I'll
Yeah.
have to show you him after. Because I think one thing that I've been seeing popping up now a lot, especially for, we'll just say consumer products, right? Clothing brands a lot, is like, how do I build this like cult like following? And I think part of why like I have been so tuned in to Full of Vengeance is because like I see that, and I feel like I remember you might have done an interview or like a piece of content at some point where you were referencing like Supreme's ability to do that, and how you were like, there's no reason like I can't, have a lane there, right? And the way that people are doing that with organic content has just been, it's been at a level that like I just don't think existed a couple of years ago, besides maybe Supreme.
What you mean by that?
So like this Tizo guy, like he'll do things like, he's been banned a lot. He's been banned a lot, and like they can never keep him down because the things that he does in the name of marketing are just like so brazen and just like bold.
Okay.
I don't want to talk out my neck and like give anything to him that he didn't do. So like we gonna have to offline about it. But yeah, like, do you have, obviously you're not trying to give away the sauce, but are there any like ideas or campaigns that you're like, oh, I think that'd be sick?
I really want to start doing more skits, because skits are really what's trending right now. I saw a skit with a dude. He got hit by a car, and then the license plate said, "I love your jacket." Like small things like that really makes the viewer more engaged, because your first 3 seconds of your video are the most important. If they can watch through that first 3 seconds, your video gets pushed out through the algorithm more. So really, the first 3 seconds are focusing more on skits.
Are you gonna be in these skits yourself? Damn, cuz I can see it. I can see it.
Bro. I don't like acting, bro. I can't do it.
It's not your vibe.
Can't do it. I tried. Can't do it.
Are you? I mean, it doesn't seem like you're averse to being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Do you see, like, how do you see the growth of the clothing brand in relation to like your personal brand, right? Because Full of Vengeance and Alonzo Margiela ain't the same.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Really? Like, I feel like I'm more so personable now. I used to be really introverted. So I feel like me starting my brand, it really made me be more social, put me in rooms that I necessarily didn't want to be in at first, but I had to be in. And I feel like that made me grow into a better person, to the point where I'm more social. I can network with more individuals. So basically, I would say the clothing brand definitely helped me with that. And when it comes to the fashion aspect, you can't, like, if you're in the streetwear type of industry and you're selling clothes, you got to match the vibe. You gotta look the part. You gotta be fly.
Facts. It's a good play. Sweet, man. I think that's most of the questions I got. I know we wanted, and we'll circle back, but to that earlier point, like there's a lot of things available to clothing brand owners, anyone, especially like when it comes to content, that, weren't options a couple years ago. When you started this, actually maybe when you started this, I'm trying to, dude, has ChatGPT been a thing for like 2 years?
At this point, I feel like it was in the early stages, around when I started.
Dude, I feel old. That's crazy.
I don't know though, because was I using that for schoolwork back then?
You
I'm trying to think.
was at some point. That's
I probably
crazy.
was, bro.
So I'm using it right now. That's crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of tools on the market, especially like some of this like text to video stuff that just wasn't in the market before. And, you know, obviously fashion and like streetwear, like you mentioned, and hip hop have always been kind of hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And you start to see a lot of like underground and even more established artists like using AI for their like low performance vids, like tease snippets and stuff. So I think if we get the chance to chop it up again before you leave, we might dive into that and kind of just see what's out in the market. But yeah, appreciate you giving game, man.
Yes, sir. We can do that for sure, though.
Oh yeah, we'll make it happen. Cool, bro.